You want my most experienced employee? Well, okay. A few years ago, I worked for Company X as the manager of some key administrative staff and had a chance to serve up some malicious compliance. A bit of background. At the time of the MC I had 4 employees: generic employee, rockstar, new guy, and dipshit. Dipshit could not be fired as he was related to some very senior managers. Nepotism at its best. We worked closely with the ops team where one of our responsibilities was to perform certain tasks without which the entire operation would grind to a halt. At the time there had been some expansion and a second shift was introduced. Thus new guy was hired. Like any time something new happened, there were a lot of teething issues. At the time dipshit and generic employee were covering the new afternoon shift, rotating weekly, while I had new guy learning the ropes on the morning, where the workload was a lot heavier, with rockstar and generic employee / dipshit on their week of mornings. Anyhow, as mentioned, there were some problems with introducing a new shift, and the ops manager, who I had worked with in the past, and we didn't really get along, did as most managers do when something isn't going right. Passed the blame over to our end. To be fair, some truth to it, however, dipshit was a minor cause at best. One thing I really didn't like about ops manager was she was the type to go behind your back and be nothing but smiles to your face. At the time ops manager wanted rockstar on her shift because he was the type of person who would constantly go above and beyond to make things happen. Fix her problems. Instead of asking me if it was possible, ops manager went to our boss's boss to complain that everything that was going wrong was due to my department and how she needed my most experienced employee on her shift. The next day I got an email from the boss with ops manager, my boss and her boss copied in. Please ensure your most experienced employee is on the afternoon shift to help ops manager. I was a little annoyed. I must have spent about 10 minutes just looking at that email, my temper consistently rising the entire time. Until it finally dawned on me. Ops manager wanted rockstar, but the request was for my most experienced employee. What ops manager didn't realize was that dipshit had started about 2 months before rockstar, and a few years before generic employee. Suddenly I was in a great mood and must have had the biggest shit-eating grin on my face as I typed my reply. Hi the boss, we are of course happy to help ops manager with the multitude of issues that is happening within her shift. As such, dipshit, being my most experienced employee, will spend the next 8 weeks working only on ops manager's shift. My boss and I had a great laugh over it, as it was essentially career suicide to complain about dipshit. There was nothing ops manager could do but grin and bear it. Now to the comments. I love it when the veteran of the workplace is a lousy worker. When I started working a certain pizza joint, we had someone who was employed for far longer than the others. His incompetence was noted, though, and he got to watch basically every new employee get promoted past him. A lot of people are fine with that. That was very satisfying. Thank you. How does it feel having the most senior comment here? I need that t-shirt, generic employee. Your comment made me remember a very funny shirt I saw once. NPC. Pay no attention to me. Ha, I have that shirt. It used to be sold by the Megatokyo site, although I haven't read that in I think over a decade at this point, so not sure if they still do. Shame dipshit can't be fired, but hey, the manager dug herself into that spot, so they can only blame themselves. She would never admit that though. That's okay. She can keep the most experienced employee on her team. This will totally help their team and keep that grin on her face. Weaponized incompetence. I feel sorry for generic employee. He's like guy from Galaxy Quest. I don't even get a real name. Like in Fight Club, they do in death. Dude. Rule number 1, man. You know it's pro when you can weaponize your morons. I too hope someday to be recognized by some guy on Reddit for my work ethic as _rockstar_ and not actually by my company via my wage. Yeah, but remember, the rockstar doesn't usually get promoted because they are needed in the current position. Hooray for paying attention to detail. Textbook MC. So nice. Well executed. This reminds me of the episode of The Office where Creed becomes manager solely based on seniority. It's also hilarious because ops manager couldn't be bothered to just remember the name of Rockstar apparently, and that would have fixed all her problems. Any other stories about ops manager getting pissed off at dipshit? Poor Rockstar is going to be stuck there forever, isn't he? You may think nepotism is bad, but when you can use it as a weapon against someone else, it's priceless. Nepotism is rampant at my workplace too, but there's only been about maybe one or two that I can think of that would be classified as dipshit. The rest are mostly rockstar. I guess the pressure to prove they are worth it is quite high. Morally it sucks and also means you gotta watch what you say, but otherwise they all are pretty decent people. In my department we initially hired through the proper channels for one position but had such bad luck. For about 2 years 4 different people filled that position, but 3 ended up being dipshits and the 4th was a rock star who quickly moved on to better things. In the end my manager just ended up allowing the 2 ex-stepson to fill in temporarily and he's still there 3 years later. He's fantastic at his job and a really nice bloke that fits in well. Just luck, I guess. Good on you got recognizing the one guy's willingness to go above and beyond. I feel like a lot of managers wouldn't recognize that. I love this ending. Great example of pausing and waiting to respond rather than react. I need this reminder always, it never fails. You weaponized incompetence. Bravo. The loop background to her not being able to complain really makes it. Saw where it was going when I hit dipshit in the list of employees right at the beginning. Enjoy the ride. You've got to be IT, right? Dang, that was really good. I have always striven to be generic employee. The names in this post. Sounds like an episode of The Office. Your labeling of your employees, dipshit and generic employee, really made me laugh. OP, I think you the rock star here. Creed Bratton is the new manager. Oh, I really like this one. Bravo. This was great. I actually shouted yes out loud when I finished reading. Thank you for the joy you brought me upon reading this. Technically right is the best kind of right.